I know Laverne's.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the France Court at the University of Laverne and what used to be the Super Tents. I'm Don Pollock, along with Brian Tox, bringing you all the play-by-play action as the University of Laverne Leos take on the Redlands Bulldogs in an exciting SCIAC basketball conference. Some things are different this year, Brian, but tell us what some of the things are we have to look forward to tonight.
Well, first and foremost, you're looking at two teams that do not have a whole lot of height. When you're looking at teams that don't have a lot of height, they've got to shoot the ball well in order to win games. So both teams are going to be looking to shoot. They're going to be looking for the three-pointers as well, and that could also help for the offensive board as they're going to hit the rim, look for long rebounds, hopefully get some quick points right off the bat for both teams.
So some big changes here for both teams after 36 years. Coach Gary Smith, the legend, stepped down at Redlands. What's the impact that's had on this team?
Now, Gary Smith was a type of coach that loved to run a run-and-go offense. He loved to just get the ball and go fast as he can down the field with his players, or down the court, I should say, with his players. And when you're doing something like that, you're going to score a lot, and that was no different for Redlands, scoring well over 100 points almost every single game for the past few years. Now this year, it's going to be completely different for him because their coach now wants to hold up the break, look for the half-court offense, and start to get something going there.
And, of course, the new coach this year isn't really new at all to Redlands. It's Coach Jim Ducey, who was the women's basketball coach for 11, 12 years and is still coach of the women's tennis team. But some big changes at Laverne, too, Brian.
Yeah, they're starting their first, it's a first-year head coach, as you say, for Laverne, and Rich Reed. He was an assistant here back in 2000, 2001, actually played here at Laverne and is obviously a ULV alumni, so he's looking to get his team going in the right direction as well. Laverne hasn't been too sharp the last couple years, and he's looking to change it up this year.
Yeah, I think attitude, talking to assistant coach Sean Lokar before the game, that's been a big thing, is trying to get the players to not only buy into a new system, but buy into a winning attitude.
That's the problem. Whenever you have a new system, a lot of players are a little confused on what's going on and what their goal is for that season. And I think Reed is really stressed. Winning is what they really need to do, and I think that's what he's been doing up to this point.
And one of the other big changes this year, Brian, in SCIAC is they're instituting a season-ending tournament for the first time. And the top 4 teams in the division get to make the tournament. So the 1 seed plays the 4 seed, and the 2nd seed plays the 3rd seed. So Redlands still has a shot at 4th place. They're currently tied for 5th in the division. And if Laverne wins out their games and the cards fall the right way, they could actually make the tournament. And the team that wins the tournament, it's an automatic NCAA Division III berth. Why don't we step aside here for a moment for the national anthem?
Good evening and welcome to France Court, home of exciting Leos basketball. Tonight the Leos host the University of Redlands Bulldogs in a rematch of the January 26th meeting, which Redlands won 57-54.
Well, I guess we're not going to go right into the national anthem, but Brian, these two teams met before at Redlands. Laverne was losing by 12 to 15 points in the first half, came back in the second half, had the lead, and lost the game 57-54. So you talked a little bit before about what Laverne needs to do, but there are some new players this year on the Laverne team, new faces they didn't have around last year. So a couple of transfer students have come in for Laverne. Danny Vasquez, a guard, from East Los Angeles College, and now we will step aside for the national anthem.
Carlos. For 3, Patrick Roberts. And guard, 6'2" senior from Orange. For 4, Daniel Michael. And guard, 6'10" senior from Vancouver. For 21, Dave Thomas. And forward, 6'5" senior from Redlands. For 31, Matt Lorette. And forward, 6'4" freshman from Phoenix, Arizona. For 31, Matt Lorette. And his first season as a head coach of the Bulldogs.
So we've just seen the Redlands lineup, the starting lineup for Redlands. And it'll be number 3, Patrick Coffey at one of the guards. Number 4, Daniel Marcus, 6'2" senior from Orange. And here is the Laverne lineup from Wailuku, Hawaii.
Number 10, we have Matt Hyde. He's a guard, sophomore from Hawaii. Number 12, Kyle LaHole is a junior from El Cajon. We have number 14, Juan Canas. He's a senior from Commerce, California. And number 21, Billy Nosolini, a sophomore from Novato, California.
So Laverne going with a 3-guard lineup. Looks like they're going to bring some speed with them. So we're talking about the very even matchup, too, with Redlands, where they have a 5'11 guard, a 6'2 guard. Dave Thomas, the 6-foot senior, he can really shoot the ball. And they're one of the leading shot blockers in Skyak history. Matt Loretz, a 6'5 senior from Los Altos for Redlands. And the other big player for them, the 6'4 freshman from Phoenix, Matt Dietrich.
Whenever your program is able to get players not from the same state that you are accustomed to is a great way to go for your program, because it shows that you're able to recruit not only in the state of California but outside as well, and able to bring in those players, which really could boost up your program in a lot of different ways.
So both teams very evenly matched, 10-12 overall. Laverne 4-7 in Skyak, and Redlands 5-6 in Skyak, and Laverne controls the tap. A nice alley-oop inside. Unfortunately, Matt Loretz not able to convert, so Laverne really pushing the ball. Kyle Lujo down the court.
And that was a great play by Laverne, although on the defensive end they really messed up on their man-to-man on a simple pick and roll on the backside. But not letting it get to it, they come down and able to score quick too, and that's what Laverne needs to do in order to get this game going.
Nice spin move underneath for Redlands, but not able to hold on to the ball, so that'll be out of bounds to Laverne.
That's good defense by Hyde. You know, when the player spins around, all you got to do is take a step forward to the opposite side that he spins out, and he can usually stop it, so it's a good play by Hyde. So
Brian Hallen in the game for Laverne, 6-footer from LaSalle High School in Alhambra. Laverne up 2-0 with 19 minutes left in the half. And Laverne, again, picks up a loose ball.
It wasn't the smartest decision by Laverne. You know, you don't have numbers right there. Kyle Ho should have just calmed it down, taken a step back, and started the offense instead of trying to force it.
But, Coach, I'm averaging 7.3 a game, and I was feeling it. And there's Matt Hyde from Wailuku with a nice left-handed layup for Laverne, making it 4-0 Laverne over Redlands.
Able to use his body to shield off to the defender right there to get the easy two, and that's what you want to do. If you're a left-handed player, you're obviously not going to be going on the right-hand side all that much because you don't have that body to shield yourself, and that's exactly what Hyde was doing right there, shielding himself on the left side of the basket.
So with the score 4-0, the coach of Redlands says, let's take a timeout here and regroup. Guys, if we don't win this one, we are not going to be in the inaugural Skyak tournament.
You know, he really needs to calm his players down. They're a little out of sync right now. They're rushing a little bit, trying to force a little too much, and I think they might be reverting back to their old style of the run and gun. They're not really slowing the ball down, and that's one of the problems when you have a new coach establishing a new system. You've got to learn to just calm down, buy into the system, but a lot of these players are still trying to have a hard time not running as much as they used to.
Well, there are 3 senior starters on the team, and Coach Ducey has brought in some 3 freshmen who are getting quite a bit of playing time, especially 6'4" Matt Dietrich, starting freshman. One of the exciting players on the team from Bend, Oregon is Kent Irwin. They list him at 5'7", but I don't think he quite reaches that height. And then, of course, from the state of Washington, the freshman backup center, Andrew Mills, So at 6'6", he brings some height to the Redlands lineup. So Dave Thomas, the senior, with the ball. Working inside to Dietrich. Dietrich looking for a shot. Back to Coffey. Nice ball movement there. Coffey to Daniel Marcus. Marcus, second team All-SCIAC last year. He works it into Loretz. Loretz with the rebound. And Loretz again. And that'll make the score 4-2 with 18 minutes left to play. You're watching in the first half. You're watching LVTV3, Laverne Community Television, and we are live. Nice shot from outside by Juan Canas. Canas, 10.1 points on the average this year.
Yeah, Canas is a shooter. He's always going to look for the open shot, and that's exactly what he did. It's a simple step up and pop it, and obviously got the best result in the make.
And Canas only 6'1". Oh, there's a foul using the body, Matt Hyde. Only 6'1", but he's averaging 5.8 rebounds a game, and that leads the Laverne team.
And as a coach, you don't mind that foul. You know, Hyde is going for the steal, just aggressive play, and just letting the defender or the offensive player know that he's there. And you really can't be too disappointed with that foul.
And the score is 6-2. 17:22 left in the first half, with the University of make that 6-4. University of Laverne Leopards over the Redlands Bulldogs.
And Coffey right there just wanted a shot for himself. A simple crossover, getting some space between him and the defender, and pulling up on the right side of the hash mark. And simple two right there. Nice play.
Hallinan to Hyde to Nicolini, and nobody can make the shot. So Coffey playing the point for Redlands, pushing the ball up. Finds number 21, Dave Thomas. Thomas can shoot, and he ties the score.
That was a great play by Thomas. Just a simple step up, right around the free throw line, just on the corner side. Just step up, and if no one's going to stop you, shoot it.
Hallinan takes the three. Nice shot, but can't convert. Look for Dave Thomas to put up another shot here, Brian. From the left side, but can't convert. Rebound, Laverne. Score tied 6-6, 16:28 left in the first half. You're watching LVTV3, Laverne Community Television. I'm Don Pollock, along with Brian Tox. And there's the weave. Matt Hyde with the head fake. Hyde from Baldwin High School in Maui, Wailuku. Hyde, clock running out. Look for him to take the shot. Well, Luno takes the shot, and it's blocked. And we said it before, Matt Loretz, one of the top shot blockers of SCIAC history, with the block.
There's nothing more easier than a shot block at the end of the shot clock. It's really easy. You obviously know that the player's going to shoot. Matt Loretz, being the smart player that he is, not using his body to block it, just his hands, and that's a great play. Laverne, a little out of sync right here the last few times down. Maybe they can calm down, work some offense, and get something going on the offensive side of the ball.
So some substitutions for Redlands. Number 55, Andrew Mills, the 6'6" freshman in. And so they've got some height in their lineup now. And for Laverne, number 1, Brian Mancia in the game. And fooling them all is Patrick Coffey, and he gives Redlands their first lead of the game. And Richard Reed said, I don't like what's happening here. Let's call a little timeout.
Coffey right there, using his body like an offensive player should. Going under one Laverne player, going up on the other side, using his body to shield him off. So it's nearly impossible to block the shot, and the only way you could block it is if you reach over and foul him. So good play by Coffey. It looks like Redlands is actually getting something going. That's what the coach wanted. They're working his offense, and so far it's working out pretty well for them.
Coffey coming into the game averaging 9.9 points and 3.1 assists. And he is the assist leader for Redlands. Looks like we have some cheerleaders here for University of Laverne down on the floor. Either that or it's some students taking off their clothes. So the score is 8-6, Redlands over Laverne with 15:41 left in the first half. Looks like another substitution for Laverne, and that's Drew Terry. Terry, Laverne's leading scorer, and interestingly, not starting tonight, Brian.
He might be trying something different, trying to get a little spark for Laverne.
And there's Billy Nicolini, the 6-foot guard from Novato. Got just a nice outside shot, and that's a three-pointer that put Laverne up 9-8.
That's what they really needed. They've been a little shaky the last couple times down, and they need something going on the offensive side of the ball. So good play.
And with the 6'6" freshman in the game, look for Redlands to work it inside. And another substitution, Robert Hughes in the game for Laverne. Hughes, the leading field goal percentage in Skyac last year and this year, and he's a 6'5" senior, transferred last year from Antelope Valley Junior College. But while we're talking, Redlands makes another shot and they take the lead 10-9. Look for Hughes to go up underneath and gets his own rebound. Thought he was fouled on that play, Brian.
It was a nice strip by Coffey. Mike got a little bit of the arm right there, but when you're playing as intense as these two teams are, the ball is going to be part of the arm as well, so good no call.
And there's Hughes with the rebound for Laverne. And Nicolini sees an opening, drives, and is able to convert, giving Laverne back the lead, 11-10, Ryan.
And that play was started by Drew Terry, number 32, able to stop the offensive player all by himself, able to get some nice post-up defense, and that pretty much started the break.
And Terry's a 6'4" senior, averaging 10.4 points a game and 5.4 rebounds. There's a travel by Daniel Marcus for Redlands. Marcus not happy with the call.
Billy Nicolini right there on the stop, able to close out on the defender. What did not go for the fake at all, and when that happens, you jump up in the air, you got nowhere to go. Gonna get called for the travel every time.
So some wholesale substitutions for Redlands. Number 44, Travis Miller, the 6'5" freshman coming into the game, and the 5'7" Kent Irwin, guard. So look for Irwin to show some good speed and hustle. The question is, can he stay with number 1, Brian Mancia, who's 6'2". The drive there by Terry.
Good play by Terry as the defender closed out, left the inside open on the right side, and that's when you got to slash in towards the middle. And you don't see a lot of that from Laverne since they aren't that tall, so it opens up the three-pointers on the outside when that happens.
Well, I thought he was going to get a call for the shooting foul, and wide open is Danny Vasquez, number 24, saying, "Give me the ball, give me the ball." They gave him the ball, he couldn't make the shot. So Dan Selway bringing the ball down the court for Redlands. Selway, a two-sport athlete, Brian, leading the Redlands Bulldogs as their quarterback into the national playoffs. Vasquez seems to like this close corner. Vasquez, a transfer from East LA.
Got to watch out for Kent Irwin on the break. He will knock down that three.
Travis Miller with the rebound for Redlands. So 13-11, Redlands over Laverne. Kent Irwin bouncing the ball from outside, working the weave with Justin Sobchak. Fast break for Laverne. Drew Terry can't hold on to the ball and out of bounds. So 13-11, 12-19 left in the first half. Ryan Mancia will inbound the ball. Mancia, local product from Montclair Damien High School, 6'2" sophomore. And Terry not afraid to shoot the ball, and Hughes not afraid to rebound it. Can't hang on as Andrew Mills pulls the ball away.
Hughes has been all over the glass so far in this game. He's got his hands on a lot of balls, but so far has been unsuccessful on the offensive side of the glass. But so far, so good. Gotta love that aggressiveness.
And Miller goes up and he's fouled. And who was that call on now? So he'll be shooting two.
I wasn't sure.
Interesting, Sean Lokar, who played here at Laverne and graduated in 2005. His sister, one of his two sisters, attends school at the University of Laverne. The other sister plays on the Redlands basketball team. So a little hard to decide who they're going to root for. So Robert Hughes will sit down and Juan Canas will come back in the game.
All I got to say, John, is I'm looking at Kent Irwin right now, and there's no way he is 5'7". That is a generous 5'7".
But as a freshman, he's earned some playing time. but it's a little hard for him to keep up with the 6'2" Brian Mancia, who he's supposed to be covering, and Mancia shows that height matters, and he closes the score 14-13. Redlands still leading Laverne.
Laverne should really exploit that matchup. He has a huge height advantage over him, and he should post up every single time. There's no way Redlands can stop it.
Justin Sobchak with the ball. Sobchak, 6'2" sophomore from Palm Desert. With the left hand, it's good, and he's fouled. So while he's going to the line, Kent Irwin's going over to the bench saying, Coach, what do you want me to do? The guy's got 7 inches on me.
Yeah, the foul was on Danny Vasquez. And
so we're going to take it down to Ariella Pollock on the floor with the Laverne Rowdy Rooters. Okay, Brian Mancia to Billy Nicolini. Hits nothing but net. Unfortunately, it's the outside of the net. So Laverne Canas able to get the ball back, driving the lane. Switches hands, but not able to convert the shot or make the pass. I'm not sure what he was up to. Kent Irwin pushing the ball hard for Redlands. Finds a seam. Dishes to Selway, the quarterback. And that'll be a turnover by Redlands.
now, as we were saying, Mancia should exploit the offensive side of the ball, just posting up on Irwin. Now, on the other side, it's going to be just as hard, as Redlands should also exploit that matchup, as a smaller guy is a lot harder to guard if you're a lot taller.
So number 41, Matt Dietrich, back in the game for Redlands. And they will give Andrew Mills a little bit of rest. So freshman for freshman. Terry with the ball. Terry looking for his shot. Moves it to Mancia. Laverne looking to find some kind of a shot. Oh, Canas almost loses the ball. And there's Terry from outside for 3. So that'll close the gap to 1.17-16. Laverne over Redlands. Mancia really pressuring Kent Irwin. To see if Selway can make, the quarterback can make the pass. Nice strip there underneath by Canas. And a beautiful setup from Mancia to Billy Nicolini, giving Laverne the lead 18-7. Oh, and Mancia does it again, knocking the ball away from Irwin. And that's a beautiful way to work that pass, Brian. Back and forth, and finally able to make the layup.
Yeah, Laverne's defense really starting to pick up here in the latter stage. And it looks like Redlands is having a little trouble containing it. So Laverne's able to get something going here, and that's exactly what you like to see, especially if you're a fan of the ULV.
And so Redlands will very wisely take a timeout where we go down to the floor where Ariella Pollock is talking to the Laverne Rowdy Rooters. Take it away, Ariella.
Hi, I'm Ariella Pollock, and I'm here with some Rowdy Rooters. What are you guys doing here dressed like this on a cold night?
Well, we come from all different sports, and we're just, supporting the basketball team. We're friends with all of them, so, we just love to support them, and we're here on a big night. It's Redlands, so, yeah, so we're just all here right now.
Can we hear a cheer from you guys? A cheer.
Oh, you want to cheer? They want to cheer.
Well, while the Rowdy Rooters are trying to figure out what
This is what we do when they score. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So what?
Okay, thank you guys.
All right, that's beautiful. Laverne Rowdy Rooters showing some school spirit. 9:43 left in the half. Laverne leading Redlands 2017. You're watching LVTV 3, Laverne Community Television. I'm Don Pollock along with Brian Tox.
Patrick Coffey's back in the game, so Laverne's really got to watch out for his shot because so far he's been on point.
And Dave Thomas, the shooter, so Coffey to Thomas. And Daniel Marcus is scorer too, very versatile player. And there's Matt Loretz with the shot. And there's a foul called underneath, so that'll be Laverne ball. Juan Canas will inbound it.
Looks like Redlands going to go a little full court pressure. That's the first time we've seen them do that, so I don't know if they're going to look to get some defense going here, or they just want to put a little pressure on Laverne.
And Matt Hyde bringing the ball up for the University of Laverne. And fooling absolutely nobody with that pass, trying to hit Billy Nicolini.
Laverne's having a really hard time trying to get the ball inside, and because of that, they're only able to swing the ball on the outside, not being able to get any open looks.
Oh, in and out there for number 41, Matt Dietrich. Brian, Redlands has some really top scholar athletes on their team. And I think that we should probably recognize them, being that this is Division III. Daniel Marcus has a 3.9 GPA in international business, and he spent the summer in China. He actually speaks Chinese. He was an academic all-region and probably will be an academic all-American, and is actually a finalist for a Fulbright scholarship. Dave Thomas, one of the other guards, 3.7 GPA in accounting. He too was academic all-region.
You really like to see that, especially in your players, not able to balance their schoolwork, to balance sports and schoolwork as well. And it's just great for not only the player and the student, but as well as the organization and the academic academy as well.
And Matt Loretz, number 31, who just missed that shot. Oh, but the Redlands was able to rebound and put that back in.
Dave Thomas on that shot.
So Matt Loretz, also an accounting major with a 3.5 GPA, and interestingly enough, he and Dave Thomas are going to go to work for the same accounting firm in San Jose after they graduate. And Canas bowls his way inside to give Laverne back the lead, 22-20.
And you're seeing a little bit of Redlands up-and-go offense that they've done in the last 36 years. They're starting to show a little bit, and Laverne's able to take advantage of it.
And the freshman, Randy Cordonia, in the game for Laverne. And there's Nicolini with that sweet outside shot. Another three-pointer, giving Laverne the lead, 25-20.
So far up to this point, Laverne is able to really cash in on their fast break points. And that's what you really like to see, because they're able to knock down those open shots in the open floor. So Laverne's really got to work on their defense, get some more steals, and run the ball.
There's Matt Dietrich, not able to convert that layup. Rebound to Kyle Lujo. Lujo to Nicolini. Little travel there by the freshman. So Cardonia from Highland Park, 6'2" freshman, says, hey, coach, maybe you should call a timeout if I'm going to run with the ball.
You know, that's going to happen, especially when you're a freshman. You're not going to be used to this type of atmosphere with these many players, and sometimes you're just going to forget the basics. It happens.
So Danny Vasquez back in the game for Laverne, along with Brendan Hallinan. How'd you get that out? Dave Thomas bouncing up and down at the top of the key, looking for an open man. Says, maybe I should drive here against the freshman. Freshman Cordonia falls on the floor. 25-20, Laverne over Redlands. And Marcus not able to hold on to the ball.
Laverne's defense really clamping down on Redlands' offense, and they're generating a lot of points from it. So Laverne's got to keep that up, have a shot at winning this game.
So Hallinan trying to set up the play for Laverne. Hughes back in the game at center. 6'5" senior. Transfer from Antelope Valley, JC. Another travel call there, I'm afraid, by Drew Terry.
Drew Terry had that open shot. Don't be afraid to take it. Step up, take the shot. That's what your offense is running. It's really, really simple what Laverne's offense is running right now. The player on the top is passing it to one side, and as soon as he does that, he's swinging out to the opposite wing, and that's opening up that side shot, and that's what Laverne is trying to do. It looks like they're going with that half-court trap again.
So there's been no change in the score for some time, but there is a change in the Redlands lineup. John Howard Holcomb in the game, and he's a freshman from Redlands, 6'3" freshman. And interestingly enough, on away games, Howard Holcomb wears number 5. In home games, he wears number 15. That's a little bit of Redlands lore that I have not been privy to, Brian.
A little strange in my opinion, but whatever makes them happy.
And there's Coffey with the right-handed scoop shot, not able to convert, and Hughes cleans the glass for Laverne. Terry likes a shot from the corner, fakes it, doesn't take it. So Mancia says, let's set this up again, and Mancia's back in the game. And that was Danny Vasquez with a nice outside shot, giving Laverne a 28-20 lead.
I got to tell you, Don, I'm really impressed with the way Laverne has really handled their defense. Looks like Rich Reed has really told them that defense wins championships. Offense might win the game, but defense wins championships. And it looks like Laverne is able to take that down, and they're doing pretty good, especially right there.
Beautiful block by Hughes against the driving Dave Thomas. So Dan Selway back in the game for Redlands. Selway 6'3", forward. Another turnover by Redlands.
Laverne is really, really clamping down right here. They're really buying in into what Reed has been saying all along. Defense, defense, defense. And so far the scoreboard is showing it.
And so Kyle Luna back in the game for Laverne, the 6'4" junior from El Cajon. So Laverne has a nice rotation of players, Brian, keeping things fresh.
And that's what you like to see, not only as a fan, but as a coach as well, is all these players are very selfish enough to pass the wealth around. A lot of these players want to play. They're used to playing, especially in high school. And if they're able to step aside and let somebody else come in for them so they can stay fresh, I'd like to see that.
So Mancia with a nice pass to Hughes. Hughes goes up strong and gets fouled, and he'll shoot 2.
He was looking for that dunk right there, trying to get the crowd pumped up into it. Unsuccessful, but getting fouled just as well as a dunk could still be worth 2 points.
So last year they redid the gym here, the France Court at the University of Laverne. I think it's the nicest gym in Skyac, and the fans have really showed up to support the team. They may not have a winning record, but the fans are very loyal, and not just those rowdy rooters.
It takes time, especially with the new coach for Laverne. It's going to take time, but I got to say right now I'm very, very impressed how Laverne has really handled Redlands' offense, able to defend them really, really well, and holding them scoreless for the past 5 minutes.
So Richard Reed, the new coach, was actually teammates with Gabe Duran, the former coach here at Laverne, and they run a very similar style. So Drew Terry very active, and he finds Hughes underneath, and Hughes looking for the foul and doesn't get it. So back in the game at point guard for Redlands, Kent Irwin. And he finds Selway at the top of the key. And Selway over to Howard Holcomb. And the freshman back in the game, Andrew Mills, not able to convert the shot. So Laverne leads Redlands 30-20 with 3:34 left in the first half. You're watching LVTV 3. Brian Mancia for Laverne setting things up. And he finds Drew Terry. Nice ball movement by Laverne. Hallinan back in the game for Laverne. There's the fake and the bake.
Laverne's having a really, really tough time trying to score in the half-court set. Now, when they get the ball off the miss and run with it, they haven't had much of a problem scoring with the quick 3. But it's when they're slowing down the tempo and trying to work this half-court offense, they're having a little trouble getting the ball inside, and I think that's one of the main problems that they're having right now. Otherwise, they'd be absolutely dominating in this game.
So a couple of substitutions for Laverne, including a player we haven't seen yet tonight, James Daniel, 6'5" junior from Moreno Valley. And Juan Canas back in the game. And Brian Mancia will sit down as Billy Nicolini comes back in the game. So again, Coach Reed keeping things fresh for Laverne with 3:04 left in the first half.
You never see a player playing longer than 5 minutes, and that doesn't give the players a whole lot of time to get warmed up, but they're going to stay fresh by the end of the game.
Nice move by Selway, but tough defense by Laverne, preventing him from scoring. So Nicolini with the ball, and he'll give it to Hallinan. Hallinan looking to the bench for the play, and a little flopperooski by Redlands. And the refs are not fooled. Kana's down on the floor. And outside to Nicolini for the three-pointer, can't convert. Back to Lunau, and he can't convert. So there, Laverne's having a tough time, Brian, scoring underneath.
Like I said, if they're just able to calm down, pull it out a little bit, you don't always have the shot underneath. Pull it out and see what you can do. Great steal.
Justin Sobchak back in the game for Redlands. And there's Kyle Lunau looking for the foul, gets it, and the bucket, Brian.
Laverne's really got to look to run, and so far in this game they have, and it's really showing right now because every time they get the ball in the miss or on a steal, they're looking to score. And because of that, they're up by 12 right now with 2:14 left to go in the first half. And let me tell you, that's what they need to keep on doing. They're having a hard time in the half-court set, so just keep running the ball, let's show Redlands a little bit of their old medicine, I guess.
And Redlands says that's time for some wholesale substitutions. So the freshman, number 41, Matt Dietrich back in the game. Number 4, Daniel Marcus back in the game. And number 31, Matt Loretz back in the game for Redlands. So Irwin very active for Redlands. I thought we were going to see him put one up there, Brian. He's looking for his shot. And instead he passes to Loretz in the corner. And there's a nice block there by James Daniel for Laverne. And Kyle Lunau looking for the foul there, doesn't get it. And Daniel up, and there's the bouncing ball. Who is going to get it? And there's a little collision right there, and the ref is saying, whose ball is it? And the other ref says, it's Laverne's ball. And with the score 33-20, with the 1:34 left in the first half, the crowd goes wild.
It's really starting to show that Redlands is getting very, very frustrated. Have not scored in the past 7 minutes, and now they're going away from their offense, and there's a lot of one-on-one individual play, and that's why they haven't scored, and that's why Laverne's able to create a lot of turnovers.
And some more substitutions for Laverne. Hallinan out, and Canas in, and there's Canas with the shot. And Nicolini is out for Laverne, and Brian Mancia back in the game.
James Daniel getting a little excited right there, trying to go for that the rebound, and it looks like there's a technical foul on Redlands.
Well, he didn't get a lot of playing time, so he's trying to make the most of it, and let's see if Coach Reed takes him out. No, he's offering a few words of encouragement and says, hey, there's 1:24 left in the game. Let's keep him in there. And Redlands getting pretty worked up here, Brian. It looks like there's another tee there.
Yeah, Jim Ducey getting a little heated right there, saying what he wants to say, and he better keep his mouth shut if he wants to stay in this game.
So a 75% free throw shooter, Juan Canas, gets elected to go to the line and in and out. I think that there's a little frustration, or more than a little on Redlands' part, and Jim Ducey's trying to fire up his team, and they're not listening to him coaching, so he's going to go the extra mile, Brian.
And that's what happens. You'll see that a lot. When a team is starting to get really, really frustrated and their team isn't really doing what he wants to do, he's going to do whatever he can to fire up his team. And usually a technical is a way to do it. Let's see if his team responds and able to get something going on the offensive end, because so far up to this point, they've been shut out for the past 7 minutes.
And Canas able to make the second of the technical shots. Coffey pushing the ball up the court, but it's stolen. And there's Mancia with, in and out. Mancia with his own rebound, but he was out of bounds. So Laverne very aggressive, Brian. Tough defense, and that's why they're ahead 34-20 with 1:07 left in the first half.
Missed opportunities is a story right here for Laverne, as well as defense. This game could be pretty much over if Laverne's able to finish their shots, and they've had a tough time with it. I mean, granted, they're still up by 14, but it could be a lot worse for Redlands.
Well, here's the thing for Laverne. You never know who's... James Daniel says, I am not going to let you get an easy sky shot there, and he submarines Loretz. I'm surprised Loretz did not come up swinging on that, Brian.
James Daniel said, you will not see me on a poster anytime soon. And, that's what you got to do. You got to show these high flyers you are not afraid to hit them. If you're going to fly and go for that dunk, you better be prepared to get hit. Believe me, as a player myself, you've got to be able to just take that and say, you know what, there's always next time.
Well, Loretz 6'5", and he gets up there pretty good. And he makes the first free throw, giving Redlands 21. They haven't scored for quite some time, Brian.
Yeah, that was about the first basket in a while. It wasn't even a basket, it was on a foul, so they really haven't scored a field goal in over 8 minutes, and they're having a really tough time against Laverne's lockdown defense.
A little full court pressure by Redlands with 37 seconds left in the half. And unfortunately, Drew Terry can't hold on to the ball. That'll be out of bounds from Laverne, and Redlands will bring the ball in with 32 seconds left in the half. Laverne up by 12, 34-22 over the Redlands Bulldogs.
Laverne's got to go into this half with the momentum. So far they have. If they can get a stop right now, they will have all the momentum.
So I think that they're going to try and get the ball to Marcus, who has the ball now, or Thomas, to try and get a shot here. Coffey with the ball. He's looking for his shot, and that's another turnover, Brian. Kyle Lou now looking for a shot, and he loses it out of bounds with 2.6 seconds left in the half.
Another missed opportunity for Laverne. You really got to hope that's not going to come back and hurt them towards the end of this game. But, you know, they got to finish. Got to finish.
And there's the pass, and oh, that's a mistake by Laverne, leaving Dave Thomas wide open for the lay-in to cut the lead to 10 at the half. And at the end of the half, it's 34-24, University of Laverne Leos over the Redlands Bulldogs. Now, nobody's really stood out on offense, Brian, for Laverne in the first half, but it's been really evenly distributed, and I think the key's really been the defense.
Yeah, their defense, you've got to play good defense to win this game. And so far, they've done that up to this point, and you've got to love to see that from Laverne. It looks like they've really started to understand the entire scheme of this Laverne area or this Laverne team, and they've really been doing it up to this point. You like to see that, and it always starts on the defensive end. They're able to create turnovers, and once they're able to do that, able to run down, get some easy buckets. But Laverne's really got to focus on finishing that. This game could be way out of reach for Redlands right now, but they've got to be feeling good going into halftime, only down by 10.
So your coach, Jim Ducey, for Redlands, what do you have to do to try and come back? What do you tell your players at halftime?
Calm down. Don't be frustrated. That's going to be the biggest problem for Redlands. They've been extremely frustrated here towards the end of the first half, not able to get anything going on the offensive side of the ball. But, you know, you've got to just stay within your system. You've got to stay in with your system. Don't try to do one-on-one the entire game. You've got to work the offense, get an open shot, and once you're able to do that, you can get back in this game point by point. There is no 10-point play. So you got 20 minutes to make up a 10-point deficit.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens after the half. So we go into halftime with, University of Laverne Leos leading the Redlands Bulldogs 34-24. And I'm Don Pollock along with Brian Tox, and you're watching LVTV3 Laverne Community Television, and we're going to send it down to the Laverne dance team.
Building on the university's traditions of excellence and a strong liberal arts curriculum, the Communications Department opened its doors in 1975. With new facilities in the Arts and Communications Building, students come to our program to follow their educational goals and to get their start in building their professional career. Earning their Bachelor of Arts in Broadcasting, Journalism, or Communications, these students have plans and dreams of becoming successful in television, radio, print media, public relations, and multimedia design.
Senior exhibits are now on display. Good morning, I'm Nikki Debro with KULV News.
Our program focuses on a hands-on approach to a professionally oriented curriculum. The ability to think logically, to question and interpret, to speak with confidence and clarity, to convey ideas through words and images. These are the cornerstones of our department.
With the newspaper, I've been sports editor and I'm now editor-in-chief. The ULV Communications Department really has prepared me for what I plan to do in the future for all of my goals. I've had so much fun and I've learned so much, and I just couldn't ask for a better experience than what I've had.
I was able to be the sports director. I was able to do play-by-play commentary, direct a lot of sporting events, and with that I've grown stronger.
And 1, and 3.
These professionally run stations and publications, coupled with excellent mentoring from faculty and staff, put our students ahead of the pack when it comes to internships and jobs. Our graduates hold prestigious positions in the media, both locally and nationally.
I work for CBS 2 in Palm Springs. I'm the executive producer of news.
We have a 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 11 o'clock newscast that I'm responsible for. While at the university, the best thing that prepared me for a career in television was you really get to be hands-on with all different types of equipment.
My title is Director of Distribution Services for Mark Burnett Productions. Choosing Laverne, I think that was just a really good decision for me because I really enjoyed my years there. It helped me get the job here at Mark Burnett Productions.
I work at K-Rock Radio. I'm the Internet Sales Manager. I actually do the Internet sales on the website, but also I'm responsible for producing and developing the content on the website. I'm really glad that I went to the University of Laverne and particularly studied communications. I think Laverne is a great university for people to get a lot of individual attention, no matter what they major in. The communications department particularly focuses on a lot of practical knowledge that is immediately able to apply to whatever job you take in the communications industry.
Well, I'm an associate producer for Dateline NBC. I find stories, I pitch stories, I will write and produce my own stories. Usually, it's anything from assisting other producers with their stories or putting one together for yourself for air. I learned a great deal and there's still stuff that I apply to my work today that I learned in Laverne. Everything from my ethics class to news writing 101. It's good to know that what existed when I was there is still going on and better.
As the Director of Public Relations at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, I'm responsible for the strategic direction that the hospital takes in pursuing all media relations activities. My decision to pursue my communication academic career at University of Verne was absolutely beneficial for me in so many ways. I don't think that I actually would be sitting here today if it weren't for the path that was paved for me through the university, through the friends that I made, through the support of my professors. Every time that I had taken a next step in my career, it seems like it's all been tied back to someone at the university. If you're going to do the craft of public relations in healthcare, this is one of the best places to do it. It truly is a dream come true.
We're proud of all our alumni and our current students. We hope you might be interested in pursuing your educational goals at the University of Laverne.
I'm Rob Fikazaki along with Jesse Steinberg, and we will be bringing you all the action today from Leopard Stadium.
It's truly wonderful to watch students achieve their dreams.
Out for at least another couple of weeks, but tonight asked if he might be ready for the Spurs game on February 3rd. Bryant said, quote, "That will be a fun one."
Our graduates work for a variety of media outlets throughout the country. If you have the drive and enthusiasm to learn about the exciting and fast-paced world of communications and are interested in journalism, broadcasting, public relations, or multimedia, please contact the University of Laverne Admissions Office at area code 800-876-4ULV or online at ulv.edu/admissions. We look forward to having you join our successful graduates.
Hello world, welcome back to LVTV3. We're going to go down to our sideline reporter, Ariella Pollock, and go ahead and take it away.
Hi, this is Ariella Pollock, and I'm here with the Laverne basketball coach. The first half went really well, and you guys played some good defense. How do you feel about that?
You know, I thought our kids came out and played extremely hard, and we're looking forward to putting another 20 minutes just like that.
What did you tell your guys during the half?
You know, we have the same theme every game. It's just possession by possession. So there's still a lot of possessions left, and we're just going to try to duplicate the last half we just had.
Well, thank you. Good luck on the rest of the game.
Thank you.
This is Ariella Pollock. Back to you, Don and Brian.
All right, so as we're coming back to the second half, the University of Laverne leading the Redlands Bulldogs 34-24. And Ariella had the question, what do you tell your team at halftime? And Richard Reed said, same thing we say every time. Just keep that defensive pressure up, keep doing what you're doing.
Obviously, he's the coach for a reason. That's going to be what's said all the time, especially Laverne's been dominating on the defensive side of the ball. The only thing, there's two things I really need to look for in this half. Number one is finish. They got to finish the play, especially on the breaks. They've had a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of offensive rebounds that they could have easily put up for another score, but they've got to just calm down, go back to their original set, and start something up. And the second thing, of course, their half-court set. Had a little trouble with that. Almost all their points have come off steals and misses from Redlands, and they're able to push it down and get an easy 3 or 2.
And Laverne has to be careful not to let down in this half. So the starters for Laverne in the second half, number 14, Connors, the guard. Number 12, Kyle Lunau. Number 21, Billy Nicolini. Number 40, Brian Hallinan. And number 10, Matt Hyde, the Maui Flash. And we're getting some statistics here in the late going. First half stats. And Connors in a nice takeaway to give Laverne an extra 2 points on the lead.
And that's exactly what Laverne's got to do. Obviously, they started off here in the second half exactly where they left off. Nice defensive play and a quick, easy 2.
So Connors had 4 points in the first half. Luno had 4 points. Billy Nicolini was the big scorer for Laverne with 10. And Drew Terry had 5. And Redlands able to convert there.
That was the third time they've tried that play with the Reds on a backdoor alley-oop. Able to get it on the third time. Nice bang coming home, and that's a 2. Looks nice, but it's still worth 2 points.
And the big scorer for Redlands in the first half was Dave Thomas, 3 for 5 shooting, good for 7 points, along with 1 free throw. Daniel Marcus had 5 rebounds in the first half, Brian. There's a little tie-up on the floor, and one of the players is tying his shoe during the tie-up.
That's a great play by Redlands, knowing that they have the possession and any jump ball, they're going to get it back. If the player's on the ground, no need to foul him. Just go down, grab the ball, don't let go, you get the ball back.
So the lead is 10 points, 36-26, Laverne over Redlands. And Lunau with 6 rebounds in the first half, Brian. 5 off the defensive glass.
There hasn't been a lot of fouls in this game. Wasn't very much at all. But for Laverne, start off the second half, number 12, Kyle Luhau, just able to pick up a cheap little foul, but it's all right.
And we had seen that in the first half. Matt Loretz, the shot blocker, skying to get that lob. That's a nice play that Redlands like to work, but unfortunately that results in a turnover for Redlands, and it is a Laverne ball. Matt Hyde has the ball in the backcourt, giving it to Juan Connors.
That's got to be a play from Gary Smith's playbook. The coach here for 36 years. That's a run and gun style offensive play. Out of bounds. What are you going to do? Let's throw a lob for the dunk.
Well, if you have a guy who can sky, why not? And there's Lunau with a nice looking shot that doesn't go. Rebound by the freshman for Redlands, Matt Dietrich. Dietrich from Phoenix, Arizona.
Both these teams coming out here in the second half a little flat, unable to get anything going on the offensive side of the ball, but hopefully things will turn around for both teams.
Dietrich with the steal back from Laverne, looking for Marcus in the corner. Marcus for 3, no good. Connors with the rebound, showing you why he's got 5.8 rebounds per game. And Nicolini looking for a shot, can't find it. That's a Brian Hallinan, 36-26, and Coach Reed says, let's call a timeout here, Laverne, and figure out what the heck we're doing.
Yeah, they've had a little struggles here. Their defense is still great. Don't get me wrong. They've still been able to shut out Claremont, only for 1 nice dunk, but beyond that, they've been very well on the defensive side of the ball. Now, one thing that they are having trouble with, or it looks like Redlands has changed up a little bit, is they're closing out on the offensive player with the ball on the fast break. So Laverne's not able to get all those quick shots like they have in the first half. So it looks like ULV's got to make a little adjustments here. It looks like Redlands has been able to adjust from coming out of halftime.
So Redlands, a very good team last year, one of the best teams they've had in a long time. They went 17-7 overall, 10-4 in conference, and of course that was Coach Gary Smith's last season. So Laverne up by 10, 17:44 left in the game. Laverne not so fortunate last year, 5-20 overall and 4-10 in conference. So obviously they're doing much better this year.
Yeah, Laverne's
Allen
got to
with
get
the drive, looking for the right hand. He's rejected Combination of Marcus and Loretz. Loretz again looking for the block, only this time Nicolini's release is a little too quick, and that's a three-pointer for Laverne.
Loretz wanted that block more than you could even imagine. He jumped really high, got his arm up, but it's just a few inches short, but that's never going to get the block.
So Patrick Coffey looking for his shot there. Remember, we closed out the first half with that wide open layup by Dave Thomas, cutting the lead to 10. And there's an errant pass by Redlands. And Dave Thomas runs it down, but unfortunately it's a backcourt violation, and that'll be Laverne's ball.
You know, Don, I've really been wondering if Redlands is really having a hard time adjusting to this half-court only offense that their coaches really wanted, considering that Gary Smith let them run up and down the floor all the time, and being an offensive team, I should say, for Redlands, they've got to be a little frustrated, not getting as many points as they really want to.
Well, you know, they lost their top player from last year, Amir, who was not only the SCIAC Player of the Year, but he was the All-West Region Player of the Year. So that involves some major adjustments. Nice move by Brian Mancia to bring the ball to Canis underneath. Canis very patient on that lay-in, Brian, making the score 41-28 Laverne over Redlands.
And what do you do as an offensive player against somebody who wants to jump and block everything? Give him a little head fake. He'll look a little stupid when he jumps up and you're still sitting on the ground waiting for him to come back up to get that shot.
So Matt Dietrich being patient himself. Dietrich only a freshman and from Horizon High School in Phoenix, and I think he has a big future here at Redlands. Right.
Yeah, he does. You know, when you're coming out of especially a different state, you're going to be in somewhat of a culture shock coming out here to Southern California. And so far he's been able to adjust up to this point, and he can only improve from here.
And Laverne trying to force the ball on that one. Kyle Lunau trying to force a pass on the offensive end, which leads to a fast break by Redlands. And Lunau doesn't want Loretz to score, so he fouls him on the other end. So 11-point lead, Laverne over Redlands with 15:50 left to go in the game.
Laverne's getting a little sloppy here on the offensive side of the ball. They just got to calm down. They have the lead. All you got to do is protect it. Keep doing what you were doing in the first half. That's play good defense, run the ball, and look for a good open shot. But so far up to this point, a little shaky, but it's still early here in the second half.
And there's a couple of substitutions. Coming in for Laverne is number 44, Robert Hughes, so the master of the glass. And two players coming in, Dan Selway, the 6'3" forward for Redlands, and the freshman Andrew Mills from Newcastle, Washington. And 41-31, so he's able to make one half of those three throws. Brian Mancia with a nice spin move underneath, laying it in with the right hand.
And again, Redlands is going to come up with a full court press right there. That's the first time Laverne's seen it, and they're able to handle it without much of a problem, getting it easy to, looking for the shot, being very, very aggressive on the offensive side of the ball, and it's really helped all the way up from this entire point of this game, and they've only been able to improve up to now.
So Selway with the ball. And there was a nice play there, a little breakdown defensively by Laverne as Dave Thomas lays it in, cutting the score to 10, 43-33.
Robert Hughes has got to step up on that. When the player's coming down, to get that shot, Hughes has got to step up, make an attempt to stop that, make the player alter that shot, and hopefully we'll get that miss. But Hughes stood back a little late on the rotation. Got to be aware of that.
Now what's the call there, Brian? The refs are consulting with each other. Well, Redlands not happy with the call. They're arguing with the refs. The refs have got to go over and explain that to Jim Ducey, who's not too happy.
See, the play that was in question right there, Hughes went up for the block after the ball hit the backboard. And that's going to be called goaltended anywhere. But obviously right here, the ref might have missed it a little bit. Kind of a blown call right there, but in favor of ULV. No question there. That's what the argument is, goaltending.
So that'll send Dan Selway to the line.
very nice free throw stroke, and that's what you want to do. Nothing.
I'm sorry, that's Patrick Coffey.
Nothing too bad there. It's just a simple shot, great rotation, and he's been a shooter all the way up to this point of this game, and so far right now hasn't changed at all.
That cuts the lead to 9. So there's your man, Robert Hughes, with the rebound. Gives the ball to Mancia. Mancia, the Damian High graduate, 6'2" guard. And Hughes underneath with the lay-in.
Great pass from Drew Terry to Hughes. And that's just a simple roll off the cut right there, and that's exactly what Laverne did. Quick, easy, too, and that's the first time they've looked really, really good on a half-court set.
And Robert Hughes, a business administration major and a graduate of Boron High School in North Edwards, California.
Hughes has been a beast off the glass, and there's just another example of what he's been doing all game up to this point. Defense and rebounds.
Travis Miller in the game with the rebound for Redlands from Kota de Casa. Hughes underneath. He's looking for a shot. Can't find it. Gives it to Mancia outside. 13:51 left in the half. 45-34. Laverne up, and there's a lovely hook in and out by Hughes. Tries to get his own rebound, but instead Travis Miller picks it up.
That's a good shot. He had a perfect position. Just was a little unfortunate on the roll, but as a coach, gotta love that shot. He's being very aggressive down there in the post, and Laverne hasn't really done that up to this point, so it's a nice little change. Hopefully to open up the shooters on the corners.
And it looks like Patrick Coffey's really stepping it up here, Brian, looking to drive on Laverne and maybe to be able to dish to the open man.
Well, obviously they needed to do something compared to the first half. They didn't really have anything going. And if Paul Coffey's got to do it on his own and look for the open man, well, he's going to do it. That's the type of player he is. He's always looking to score and to get his teammates involved.
So some substitutions for Redlands. Kent Irwin, number 25, the freshman, back in the game. And there's a full court pass to Terry. First name Drew. 13:08 left in the game. Laverne up by 11, 45-34. Mancia with the ball, gives it to Terry. Terry in the corner to Vasquez, and he's able to score a three-pointer. So 48-34, Laverne up.
And Redlands has to be aware of where the shooters are. The only problem is every player on Laverne is not afraid to shoot the three. So the Redlands has to be aware of that and try not to give up the three.
Another turnover, tough defense by Laverne. And there's Kyle Luno not able to convert, but there's a foul over the back called on number 55, Andrew Mills. So that'll be a Laverne ball.
They actually called an offensive foul on Drew Terry. Undercutting the defensive players, so I don't know. Maybe the ref was a makeup call right there.
I saw it a little differently, Brian.
I think a lot of the ULV fans did out here. I don't know, the refs might be getting a little irritated. There's been a lot of hand checking, a lot of pushing down here on both sides. They really didn't call anything in the first half, but so far here, already called a total of 8 fouls.
So a foul called on Mancia, and there's a turnover. Beautiful play there by Drew Terry, taking the ball away. Gives it to Canas inside with a little jump, and it's not falling. When those don't fall, that's going to be a big problem for Laverne. Fortunately for Laverne, Travis Miller, Redlands not able to hold on to the ball, and it goes out of bounds. So some substitutions for Laverne. Brendan Hallinan coming back in.
And as
40, and Billy Nicolini back in.
Kent Irwin's got to be aware of what he's dribbling. He is a freshman. He's getting a little excited. He dribbled into triple coverage right there, and that's always going to result in a turnover.
So he's trying to cover one of 2 6-footers, and DeJuan Canas with the shot, but Laverne is ice cold here in the second half, Brian. Here's a rebound by Dan Selway. Selway pushing it all the way, throws a shoulder into the Laverne player, gets himself some space, and is able to lay it in with his left hand.
He's also trying to look for that and one call right there, and was unsuccessful on that try.
Laverne needs to slow it down a little bit, Brian, and set up a play, and they're doing exactly that.
They're going to have to work the ball inside. As you see right now, there's not anybody inside, so there's no threat inside. But just as I say that, what do I know?
Drew Terry is heating up for Laverne. But you're right, they don't have any tall players in the game right now, and so they're going to live and die by the outside shot. Andrew Mills in the game for Redlands, and if Redlands was wise, they'd work the ball into him because he's got so much height. They also have 44 Travis Miller in there, and frankly, Redlands is not working the inside game, Brian. And there's a turnover by Kent Irwin right into the hands of Kyle Lunau.
Now Laverne's player right there.
Nice pass underneath from Connors to Nicolini, and that'll make the score 53-36. Laverne over Redlands, and I wouldn't be surprised if Redlands calls a timeout here.
That's just great basketball for Laverne. If you're being covered and you have numbers, that means somebody's going to be open, and it looks like Laverne did just that.
So some very impressive players here for Laverne. Drew Terry, who's the 6'4 transfer. He's a senior now at Laverne, but played his JC ball at Saddleback College. I'm impressed with his game. And interestingly enough, Juan Canas getting a lot of playing time this year, second leading scorer on the team, and last year didn't get any playing time. But maybe it's that Bishop Amat connection. Canas went to Bishop Amat, and Coach Richard Reed went to Bishop Amat.
Or maybe he's just improving his game. You never know. Different players react to different coaches differently. So maybe Reed is actually doing something that he's actually agreeing with. He's able to fully understand it, and maybe the offense is run into his advantages. When you have something like that, you have a lot of players that maybe wouldn't even play very much from a previous coach, all of a sudden become an all-star just because of a few simple tweaks in the offense.
And here is the Laverne dance team trying to work out a routine on the floor. Not sure they have it down. Oh, it looks like we make it. No. And they hear the buzzer and they scatter.
They look a little confused, just like Redlands offense right now.
Anyway, 10:51 left in the game. Laverne leading Redlands 53-36. I'm Don Pollock along with Brian Tox. And you're watching LVTV3, Laverne Community Television. And we are coming to you live from the France Gym in what was formerly the Super Tents at the University of Laverne.
They're still super, Don.
They're
always super.
Still very tent-like. So again, some substitutions. Matt Dietrich back in the game playing the post for Redlands. Some of the other post players out of the game. And Mr. Sky, Matt Lorentz in the game. And there's Dietrich getting hammered by Randy Cordonia's in the game for Laverne.
Right now you're looking at two different styles from two different teams. Laverne, what are they trying to do? Shoot the three. They're working the ball around the edges, around the corners, around the wings, trying to find the open man for the three. Redlands, on the other hand, is trying to dump it on the inside. They have a lot bigger height advantage than Laverne does right now, and they're doing whatever they can to get the ball inside, put the ball up, get some easy baskets, and maybe even draw a foul or two.
That's what they should be doing, taking advantage of their height, and Matt Dietrich able to convert on the front end of that. 2 free throws, and he makes both, closing the gap to 53-38. So Brian Hallinan bringing the ball up the court for Laverne. Patrick Coffey defending him. Hallinan showing some good speed. And he'll give it to Juan Canas. Allen giving it to Matt Hyde. Canas wants that shot, can't find it. Shot clock running down, 14 seconds left. 10:07 left in the half. Look for Hallinan to put it up here, Brian. Nope. Gives it to Randy, the freshman. And he's not able to convert. Loretz with the rebound for Redlands.
Yeah, Laverne is just simply passing and cutting. That's all they're doing. They need to get the ball inside.
Marcus from way outside for Redlands, not able to convert. So the score is the same. Nicolini looking for a shot. Hallinan looking for his shot. Randy looking for his shot.
Every player's looking for a shot right now.
And nobody's pulling the trigger. 21 left on the shot clock. 9:31 left in the game. It's not a bad idea, though, Brian, for Laverne to run down the clock.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And there's Nicolini from outside, and they will count that as a three. So the patience paid off for Laverne.
Yeah, it does. The only thing that kind of worries me about them, maybe even in future games, they don't have anybody inside. They got to get somebody inside and be able to work that around. Just in case if the threes aren't falling in the future, they've got to have another option.
Only 6'1", but Juan Canas really fighting for that rebound. Hallinan calling the play. Matt Hyde outside to Nicolini. Nicolini inside to Canas. Connus over the head to Nicolini and can't make the layup. And here's Marcus pushing the ball up the court for Redlands. 8:43 left in the half. Things getting a little physical out there. Loretz finds the wide open Dave Thomas, and he's a shooter, Brian. You can't leave him open like that. And after that three-pointer, I think Coach Richard Reed may be calling for a timeout.
Now the ref's kind of separating two players right now, and that's what Laverne really has to avoid right now. They're up big right now, and they've got to keep their cool. They're the ones in the control. You know, let Redlands do whatever they want to do. If they want to play a little physical, let them. But Laverne cannot lose their cool because you don't want any players doing something stupid and getting suspended for a future game. You just don't want that, especially when they're in the hunt for the inaugural SCIAC tournament.
And you're up by 15. So some substitutions for Laverne. Brian Mancia back in the game. And Robert Hughes in at the post. And Drew Terry in as well. Terry, 6'4" senior from Irvine. Let's go from outside, and that'll be good for 3. So that'll make the lead 18 for Laverne over Redlands.
Redlands has to show a little bit more aggression here. They're going to have some trouble.
And
this is
that
when they're going to
smothering
start.
defense and a chance for Terry to lay another one in.
That's right.
So
Redlands has got to be super frustrated right now, especially when they're averaging for the past 36 years over 100 points. They have 41 right now. Just shows a different coach can do a different style of offense.
So with Laverne up by 20, I think that we may have the opportunity for some players who don't usually get a lot of playing time to get in the game. Richard Reed, the coach for Laverne, on the sidelines screaming for a timeout. And there's a cheap foul there by Drew Terry.
Going back to what you said about getting players in that don't normally play. Yeah, all these players practice every single day. That's just what they do. But there's nothing like game time experience. It doesn't matter if it's 1 minute or 1 half. Doesn't matter. Game time experience is completely different from practice. It's a lot faster, it's a lot more physical, and you got a lot more nerves running through you, especially when you're taking a shot in front of all these fans.
Well, I'm very impressed with Patrick Coffey, the 5'11" point guard for Redlands. He pushes the ball, and he draws a lot of fouls.
He does.
Not afraid of contact.
Dave Thomas is another one that Redlands really should consider using him more effectively. Both of those guys have really been the catalyst for this Redlands team, and they haven't really used them in very many ways.
Brian Mancia working the ball into Hughes. And Laverne not able to convert the shot, but 61-43. They're up with 6:57 left in the game. Marcus from way outside, and the three-pointer's good. So he says, hey, man, it's desperation time. Give me the ball. I'll shoot it.
Yeah, Laverne should not get carried away here. They still plenty of – their lead is huge, okay? And Redlands is trying to do anything they can, so can't count them out yet, but so Laverne just got to keep it down, calm down, and get some easy buckets.
Brian Mancia driving the lane, and there's a block from who? Matt Loretz.
And they actually called an offensive foul on that charge, and it looks like Laverne's going to call a timeout. That was a great step up by number 4, Daniel Marcus, the senior guard from San Carlos, and he was able to step up, and nothing hurts more than taking a charge, especially from a guy that's coming down as fast as he possibly can.
And substitution for Redlands, number 12 in the game for the first time tonight, Justin Omolev, the 5'10" senior from Chula Vista. So I was expecting to see some of the Laverne players who get a lot of playing time in. Instead, it's some of the Redlands players in.
Well, for Laverne, it's still not over yet. They still got plenty of time left for Redlands, and a lot of their players can shoot. And Laverne, so far, as we've both noticed here in the second half, has been living and dying by the three-pointer. They can go cold just like that, not score the rest of the game. So you don't want to do that just yet. You want to wait a little bit longer, wait till about 4 minutes, maybe 3.5, see where you're at. And if you still are up by a large margin, then you're going to look at some other players for Laverne getting into the game, doing what they can, working the offense with players that they don't normally work with.
So Redlands, Brian, coming into the game as the leading shot blocking team in the conference. And we can see a little bit of that tonight.
Oh, yeah, they've got some jumpers. It's just that simple. They got guys that aren't afraid to jump up and hit you. either hit you with the foul or just slam you down because they just blocked the shot. They're not afraid to do that. They're a lot taller than Laverne is right now, and I think they really need to start utilizing that earlier in this game. If they would have started doing that in the first half, they might have had a better chance right here, but Laverne has been dynamite from the three, unable to be stopped by anyone, and they're shooting a really, really high percentage up to this point.
So there's Omolev has the ball, and he passes it off to Dave Thomas, and it's out to Marcus. Marcus shooting those way outside three-pointers. Marcus coming into the game as Redlands' leading scorer, Brian. Here he is with another three. That was awfully close. So he's the number 13 scorer in the conference at 10.8 points a game.
Whenever you're averaging in double figures, you're going to be feeling good and very confident every time you touch that ball.
Look for Hughes to go up underneath here. But against a player of his size, a 6'4" freshman, it's a little tough for him. Omolev showing some good speed there at the point for Redlands. Playing some tough defense, too, on Brian Mencia.
He's right up on him, and that's what you want to see in a player. Maybe that doesn't get a lot of playing time, but you know what? He's going to earn his stripes right here.
And Danny Vasquez, the transfer with a little travel, and that'll be a turnover. So Richard Reed saying, hey, you're going to do that, I'm going to take you out, you and Mencia. And instead, I'm going to put in Brian Hallinan. And maybe he'll do a better job of taking care of the ball. 61-46, Laverne over Redlands, 5:31 left in the game. Coffey coming into the game as the number 2 scorer for Redlands on their team, 9.9 a game. And there's Hughes with the block, but Redlands gets the ball back at number 31, able to put the ball back in. That's Matt Loretz. Hallinan pushing the ball up for Laverne. Laverne's playing at a pretty fast pace, Brian. Oh, there's a shove in the back by number 12 on Redlands. The ref said no harm, no foul, just play on.
Yeah, this is where Laverne's really got to watch out because Redlands is going to start to play really, really physical. Hopefully Laverne will do something stupid. And, you know, you got to watch out for that being Laverne. You just got to keep your cool. Don't worry about it. Let them do what they want to do. As long as you walk out of here with the W, it's all good.
So Nicolini says that's all right. We'll take the ball inbounds. So 4:57 left in the game. 61-48 Laverne over Redlands. You're watching LVTV3, Laverne Community Television. So we talked about how Robert Hughes has a leading field goal percentage in the league, but Juan Canas coming into the game, number 3 in the league. They're 6'1" player. That's pretty impressive shooting, Brian.
Yeah, when you see players from Laverne that aren't afraid to shoot and yet shoot at a very high percentage, it's got to make you feel well. You know, you got to be very excited as a coach being able to just realize that you got players that aren't afraid to shoot and they're taking smart, well shots.
And Canas with the layup, his shot altered by Loretz's defense. And there's another takeaway from Laverne as James Daniels back in the game for Laverne. So he can jump and playing some pretty nice defense for the Leopards.
Laverne's trying to kill some time right now, and that's what you want to do. Work your offense. If you have a really open shot, take it, but don't rush anything.
And there's a foul on Omolev, and they're going to take that out of bounds, so Nicolini will take it out. And coach says, Justin, I've seen enough of that rough defense. I'm going to sit you down and bring my man Coffey back in. And Laverne is going to bring in a couple of players who haven't got a lot of playing time tonight. And there's Nicolini skying for the layup, giving Laverne a slightly bigger lead. Clock says, scoreboard says 63-48.
Yeah, this is going to be the time where you're going to see those players. Again, it's right around the 3:30 mark, and it's going to be really tough for Redlands to come back in this game. So this is what you want to see. Give some of those players some quality minutes and see what they could do.
And there's a reach-in foul on number 21, Dave Thomas, on Matt Hyde. So down at the other end, Patrick Coffey put quite a move on Brian Hallinan, and lucky for Hallinan, he didn't score. Coffey was unable to convert. So some wholesale substitutions for Laverne, some new faces we haven't seen before. Blake Parazow, the 5'10 sophomore from Carlsbad, now in the game. Number 3, the freshman Giovanni Neighbors, the 6'1 from Riverbank. There's a foul, so.
Laverne's got to be close to the bonus here. Redlands has already been in the bonus for quite some time now, and Redlands will get a lot of cheap fouls, so I don't know. This could be foul number 6, I believe.
So, Laverne has both their freshmen in the game. That was a foul, another reach-in foul by Coffey, trying to go for the steal. Blake Parazal getting some instructions from the bench, saying, "Coach, I just got in, don't take me out." But here, give me the ball. I gotta play the point. I gotta look for the open man. I gotta beat Coffey. I'm gonna give it to Randy Cordona. So the freshman passing it back and forth.
Great move, trying to get some space. He's playing you up tight, so all you gotta do is give him a little hesitation. He'll get off you.
And there's Coffey from outside. He can't convert. Finds Marcus from the far side. His 3 won't go. Marcus gets his own rebound. Drives, a little floater in the lane. Can't make it, but he's fouled.
Tell you what, he's not afraid to get in. He's got some muscle on him already, and he's not afraid to take the shot. If he doesn't got it, better watch out because he's steamrolling into that lane.
Well, you know, with some of the bigger players that Redlands has added this year, it's really freed Marcus up. He's more of a wing player this year, and he's very versatile. He can jump, he can shoot, so it gives him more freedom. And he was second-team all-conference last year, and he is their leading scorer. So another substitution for Laverne. And Juan Canas will come out, and we'll see Brandon Cunningham for the first time tonight. Cunningham, a 6'3" sophomore from Alta Loma. So I was saying that Parazou was a freshman, but he's really a sophomore. And there's a timeout with, looks like a slightly shaken up Patrick Coffey on the floor. Redlands calling a timeout. So 2:37 left in the game, Brian, 63-50. The game looks well in hand for the University of Laverne Leopards. Who do you think has really made the difference tonight for the Leopards?
Well, you know, there's been a few players that's really stood out in my opinion. And of course, I'm going to get it started with the big man, Robert Hughes. He's been getting a lot of defensive boards, offensive boards, a couple blocks, and he's really set the tone for this defense. And that's what Laverne really needed to do, is get something going here for the defense. And, you know, Drew Terry himself, the senior from Irvine, been down there getting some boards as well. And like I said, there's been it's hard to tell because there's been so many players that have contributed. A lot of threes been shot for Laverne, but their defense is what really has set them apart up to this point, and it's been quite impressive.
The Rowdy Rooters really getting the crowd going here at Laverne. They're scantily clad, orange and green paint on their bodies, but here, watch this run down the sidelines, trying to get the wave going here in the France gym. You've named some key players for Laverne, Brian, but I also want to give a shout out to Billy Nicolini. I'm impressed with his shot and his ability to put the ball in the hole. And I think at the point of one of their guards, Brian Mancia, has done a nice job as well. And I think he's done a nice job defensively also.
Yeah, it's been a team game up to this point. Laverne has really been able to clamp down on Redlands and holding a team that last year averaged well over 100 to half that at 50 this game.
Now, Dan Marcus doesn't want to lose, and he just keeps firing up the threes. And if they do that, they can catch up in a hurry. And there's a 3 by Dave Thomas, so cuts the score to 10. And there's Redlands getting the turnover, and there's a lay in there by the freshman Matt Dietrich. And this is a point where Laverne is going to put in back in a bunch of players as the lead is cut to 8 with 2:16 left. So we put the game in the refrigerator, as Chick Hearn would say, and perhaps it was a little premature, Brian.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, there's always crazy things that happen in all sports. That's why you play the game. But Redlands is not going to go down without a fight, and that's the sign of a true competitor. True competitors all over that team. They're not going to go down with a fight. They're not going to let anybody take this game from them. They're not going to be blown out of here in Laverne after winning already this year against Laverne. So they know they could do it. They just got to find a way to do it. Their shot hasn't been going well at all game long, except here towards the end of the game. Maybe they're starting to click a little bit. But Laverne's got to just bring some players back in, clamp down on defense, and do what they've been doing all game. Work the ball, find a good shot, hit it, and you're good to go.
I think it's a good point. Again, there are 3 senior starters for Redlands. This is the inaugural year of the end of the season tournament, and they want to be a part of it. And this is why every time Dan Marcus touches the ball, if he has a shot, he's taking it.
Oh, he wants to be responsible for his team being there.
Smothering defense by by Redlands. Trying to force a turnover, but instead I think it's a foul called, so that'll be Laverne ball, and I think they could be over the limit here, Brian.
Yeah, and Redlands right now has been playing a full court trap, and Laverne has not been able to handle it very well. So if I was the coach for Redlands, keep on it. Keep the pressure. This game's not over yet. Let's see what we could do. All we got to do is hit down some shots, create some turnovers. We're back in this right away.
And so Matt Hyde will go to the line for University of Laverne.
Makes the first of 1-1.
And gets the lead back up to 10 for Laverne with 2:10 left in the game.
Now, after Redlands scores like that, they're going to go right into their full court trap, and that's exactly what the coach is doing. He's setting something up right now, telling everybody to see how many timeouts he has left, because as soon as they score, it's full court trap. It's simple basketball. If you're down in the game, a lot of coaches preach it, and it looks like he's doing it right now. So look for a full court press, really, really, really aggressive. People flying all over the place. You'll see red jerseys flying to the left, to the right, to the front, to the back, everywhere they possibly can to try to get this ball without a foul.
And that was a nice play there by Redlands to end out right before that timeout with Dave Thomas feeding Matt Dietrich. So again, heady point guards feeding the bigger men underneath. That seems to be a good formula for Redlands if they can keep that going. So the University of Laverne crowd quieted down a little bit as the lead is cut to 8 with just over 2 minutes left in the game.
Oh, there's plenty of time left for Redlands, and they're starting to smell it. This is what you don't want if you're Laverne right now. You don't want to give your opponent any sign that they're coming back, and that's exactly what Redlands are doing. They're starting to smell blood, and they're going to try to go for the kill right now, but Laverne's got to pull it back, calm down, relax. Don't do anything that they haven't been doing up to this point. They played a great game defensively, and all you got to do is work the ball around and see if Laverne's able to do it, as most of the starters have found their way back into the game.
So what's Richard Reed telling his Laverne players about trying to beat the trap?
Get the ball and pass it right out. Don't be scared of it. They're not going to kill you. Get the ball out. Don't do anything stupid, and just look for the open guy.
And it worked for Redlands as they forced the turnover with that pressure defense. Kyle Luna passing it to Matt Hyde, and Matt Hyde traveling.
See, Laverne is having a tough time getting it into that sideline because you're going to get trapped from both sides, and the third defender is that out-of-bounds line. So Laverne's got to get the ball in the middle of the floor. That way the trap isn't going to work as effectively as it is in the corner.
So Dave Thomas looking to try and get open for a shot. And he finds Coffee. Coffee driving outside to Marcus. Their three-point threat in and out. So there's a little break for Laverne. And there's a push. So in the back court, that should be a couple of shots for Laverne.
Yeah, Laverne, especially when they come out of that full court trap. Now I've noticed that they've gone to the right side of the floor every single time. And as I said before, there is a third defender over there. That's a sideline. In the middle of the floor, you don't have that third defender. So if you have nowhere to go, dribble a ball back out and find somebody. Dribble it out, go back in. And it's really easy to say, but when you're out there and these guys are running at you as fast as they can, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
So Conness, a 77% free throw shooter coming into the game, not able to make that one. And there's a nice move inside by Dave Thomas, and there'll be a timeout. So Redlands going to try and figure out what to do next as they manage to cut the lead to 6 with 1:31 left in the game.
Reed's not happy right now. There was a push in the back, but it's you got to let it go. Don't let it get to you. And he's got to tell his player, get the ball to the middle of the floor. You're going to be looking right there on the middle of the floor where it says Skyac. That's where Laverne's got to get that ball. If it's not there and you get it, dribble the ball out. Dribble the ball out. And you can always call a timeout out of bounds if you don't have a play. You got to just relax. Don't force it. Don't force it. Even another thing Laverne needs to do is they need to pull somebody back. Have somebody fly out towards the other side of the basket, because you could easily have a long pass coming from out of bounds for a quick layup on the other side. Laverne's got a lot of options here. Just don't freak out. Just relax and look for a good shot.
Sounds like good advice, Brian. We'll see if the University of Laverne Leopards are able to enact that advice. Score is 65-59. University of Laverne Leopards over the Redlands Bulldogs. 1:31 left in the game. These two evenly matched teams. Laverne had the lead up to 20 points in the second half, and they've let it slip away as the outside shooting of Redlands has improved and as the trapping defense of Redlands has proved very effective against the University of Laverne.
I can tell you one thing. Coach Reed tomorrow at practice is going to practice this. They're going to let Laverne practice coming out of a full court trap. Obviously, they haven't seen a lot of it.
And so Laverne's still having trouble inbounding it, and Redlands knocks the ball out of bounds and then only takes 4 seconds off the clock. So I think Laverne needs to spread out their players a little bit better to find the open man. So they're able to inbound successfully, and Patrick Coffey giving the foul in the backcourt to Kyle Lunau.
And Laverne did something very, very well right there. The out-of-bounds man is able to move back and forth along the baseline. That's what he able to did. Found an open man. And as a smart player, all he does is take a step inbounds. He's going to be open. They're not going to guard him, especially since he doesn't have the ball. So that's going to be a quick turnaround for the incoming player if he wants to get the ball to a quick reverse on the other side. And that's exactly what they did. Great play by Laverne.
And Lunau only a 58% shooter on the year coming into the game, but he's able to make the first shot, and 66-59. So 7-point lead for Laverne, 1:28 left in the game. And he can't make the second one, but Conness is there with the rebound. And he gets hacked as he goes up. And Laverne is very wisely going to bring Robert Hughes into the game now for a little more height and a little more presence on the glass.
Yeah, he's going to be there to get that defensive rebound. That's what he's going to be there for, because obviously Redlands is going to be shooting the threes. The ball's going to bounce high off the rim if it's going to be a miss, and he's got to be there to get those long rebounds, because on threes, that's the easiest opportunity for any team to get an offensive rebound, especially a smaller team like Redlands that have a few big guys that can get in there no problem.
And interestingly enough, they're not playing too many of the big guys right now. They're going with a smaller lineup of shooters.
And it's worked.
They do have freshman, 6'4" freshman Matt Dietrich still in there. So apparently Coach Ducey's very high on him. And of course they have their 6'5" shot blocker in there, Matt Loretz too. So he's going to make a difference. But other than that, it's the three guards. 5'11" Coffey, 6'2" Marcus, and 6 foot Dave Thomas. And 6'1" Conness, first name Juan, shooting the ball for Laverne. 77.6% free throw shooter coming to the game, and is able to make the first one, giving Laverne an 8-point lead with 1:24 left. And Conness very patiently makes the second. So back to a 9-point lead with 1:23 left in the game. But Redlands really pushing the ball up court. Coffey looking for the shot and looking for the foul. Back in the game, Selway. And Selway shuffles his feet underneath for Redlands. That'll be a turnover. Laverne ball with 1:15 left in the game. And there's a foul on Brian Hallinan.
He actually called a travel on that.
Oh, travel.
Now, Laverne's still having trouble with that full court press. They're not able to get anything going, so just get a few stops here and the game is in yours.
Well, they've got to put the ball up here. You know Marcus will be looking for the shot. Right-handed scoop shot, and he gets the roll. So that cuts the lead to 7 with 1 minute left. And there's a foul on Nicolini in the backcourt, so that'll send him to the line. Nicolini, a 67% free throw shooter. So 68-61, Laverne over Redlands, 59.3 seconds left in the game. You're watching LVTV3, Laverne Community Television. The rowdy rooters on the sideline, waving their hands, trying to cheer on Billy Nicolini. And somehow, Brian, it works as he makes the first of 2.
Laverne's really got to focus on making their free throws. That's what it's going to come down to. If they make the free throws, game over. But if they don't, it's going to leave the door open for for Redlands, and could possibly be big problems. So they got to make their free throws.
Well, he's not able to make the second work for Laverne, and there's a driving lay-in by Dave Thomas, and that cuts the lead to 6 with 50 seconds left in the game. And Kyle Lunau very wisely saying, I can't find that open man. Let me call a timeout before we run out of time.
Yeah, if you don't got a man, call a timeout. Simple as that. When you do that, you're going to be able to set up a play, especially coming off a made basket by Redlands. It's hard to get something going and set up because it happens so fast. But if you go on the sideline, let Coach Reed draw something up and execute it. It's simple as that. You're going to get fouled as soon as you touch the ball. Go down there, make it 2 free throws. Let's go the other way.
So it seems like Laverne is still trying to play at a fast pace, Brian. Yes, they're getting fouled right away, but even when they have the ball, and it seems to me at this point, if anything, they'd want to try and slow it down a bit.
Of course. That's one of the biggest problems right now. They're trying to go too fast, and that's great at the beginning of the game and towards the middle of the game, but towards the end, especially when you have the lead, slow it down. The game's in your hands. There's no need to rush it. The clock is now your friend, and use it to its full advantage. You got 35 seconds to get a shot off. Use every second that you have.
So I don't know. It's a Wednesday night here in Laverne, Brian. Classes start early tomorrow. It seems like these rowdy rooters should be home working on those papers. But here they are in various states of undress, cheering on their friends on the men's basketball team here in the Friends Gym at the University of Laverne.
Believe me, especially when you're a student here at Laverne, you do not have enough time to sleep. So they're used to being up to about 2, 3 in the morning, and they're showing why.
Hey, nothing gets started until the classes end at 10. Anyway, 69-63. Nobody is leaving this game now. Canis bringing the ball up court and gets the football shoulder from the quarterback Dan Selway. So that'll send Canis to the line with 48 seconds left in the game.
Just step up to the line, no pressure. You got the lead. Just go ahead and make your free throws. At least 1 of 2, and you're golden. Right? There's not going to be any problems from your coach or anybody else. Sit back up. You know he's a really good free throw shooter. And that's just showing you exactly why he's going to do it.
And so Canis makes the first of 2 and gives Laverne a 70-63 lead. 7 points with 48 seconds left. Canis not able to make the second one, and that is brought down by the freshman Matt Dietrich. And Coffey really pushing the ball up, and that's a 3-pointer, so cuts the lead to 4 with 40 left. You couldn't ask for a more exciting game, Brian. And Canis is fouled. He's a little bit fired up on that hard foul by Dan Marcus.
And this is what Laverne doesn't want to do. They don't want to get into a shoving match here. They were absolutely blowing out Redlands because of their defense. They've gone away from that. They're not getting as well. They weren't doing what they were doing here in the first half, and that's why this game has gone so much. How it's changed so much. These are 2 big free throws.
And there's a show of good sportsmanship. Marcus comes up, pats Canis on the back and said, "Hey pal, I didn't mean it. It had to be done." And Canis says, "Oh yeah, well I'm going to make that free throw, giving us a 5-point lead." And he misses the second, and Marcus pulls down the rebound, so a 5-point lead, 36 seconds left. Coffey pushing the ball up court at hyper speed for Redlands. And throws up a wild shot. It doesn't go in. Laverne with the rebound, and Kyle Luna hacked across the arms. Luna, as we said earlier, is the guy that Redlands wants to send to the line. Only a 58% free throw shooter. But for Laverne, they're able to run some time off the clock, and they're happy about that.
That was a great play by Coffey. He's been an absolute stud here in the second half. He's been carrying Redlands up to this point, and that's just another example of what he has been doing. Wasn't the best shot in the world, but nearly dropped in.
And under pressure, Kyle Lunau able to convert. The 6'4" junior from El Cajon, giving Laverne a 6-point lead with 27 seconds left. Laverne leading Redlands 72-66. And in and out, Marcus with another rebound. And your pal Coffey really pushing the ball in the lane, throws it outside to the quarterback, Selway, and Selway's good for 3, and that cuts the lead to 3, Brian, with 18 and a half seconds left.
And as I mentioned earlier, Laverne had a lot of opportunities to get a lot of easy baskets, especially in the first half. And I said, I really, really hope it doesn't come back to haunt him. And well done. I think it might come back and haunt him if they don't make their free throws.
The inside game was tough for them in the first half. Redlands was tough inside. They did miss a lot of shots. So Matt Hyde sent to the line. And he's able to convert. So that's good news for Laverne, giving them a 4-point lead with 16.8 seconds left. But the way Coffey pushes the ball up court, I mean, he can get there in about 2 seconds.
He doesn't need much time, and he's shown that so far up here in the second half.
So Hyde giving him Laverne giving them a 5-point lead, and there'll be a timeout while Redlands tries to figure out how can we score 5 points in 16.8 seconds.
It's going to be tough for Redlands, but I tell you what, they put themselves in a great position here, especially in the second half. It shows a lot from their character. It shows a lot from their coaching staff. It shows a lot from their players that, you know, even though being down by 20 here in the second half, they're not going to be discouraged. They're not going to be run out of this gym, and they're going to make it one heck of a showing. And I think everyone here in this gym has really seen that, especially from Redlands.
Well, as we've talked about, this game is being brought to you live on LVTV3, Laverne Community Television, and it is an exciting mix of crew, Brian, of community members and University of Laverne students. And of course, the University of Laverne has an outstanding broadcast program, and the reason it's so good is because the students get lots of hands-on experience, and I think you can attest to that yourself, Brian.
Oh, absolutely, especially being a student here for 4 years. I got a lot of experience to do what I'm doing now. It's something that I really love to do, and I highly encourage anybody thinking about going into broadcasting, really look at ULV. It's a great experience. You get great opportunities to do what I'm doing right now.
And of course, you may not know this, Brian, but I have mixed loyalties as I taught the first television production class in the history of the University of Redlands back in 1998. And of course, the program was not able to stick, and I'm still here at Laverne. Anyway, 16 seconds left in the game. Selway to Marcus. Marcus from outside with a three-pointer. Rebound by Conness. Conness is going to be fouled as soon as he grabs the rebound by Dave Thomas. But luckily for Laverne, they're able to eat 7 seconds off the clock with no extra points for Redlands.
Yeah, if Conness makes these 2 free throws, you can ice the game. There's not enough time now for Redlands to really get a whole lot going. He's got to just focus and do what he does best,
which is make that free throw. So Conness looking really good under pressure, and Robert Hughes back in the game for Laverne. So a little presence there on the glass, and Kyle Lunau will sit down.
If the ball's made,
he gets some applause from the crowd. He's put in some good minutes tonight.
If the ball's made, expect Hughes to guard that out-of-bounds guy because he's got longer hands.
So with 7-point lead, 5 seconds left. Coffey from outside for the three-pointer, not able to make it. And time runs out. So the University of Laverne able to pull this one out, Brian, after Redlands cut the lead to 3. So the final score, 76-69, University of Laverne Leos over the Redlands Bulldogs.
Yeah, I tell you, this was a tale of 2 halves. It really was. Laverne came out absolutely dominating defensively, and Redlands wasn't able to do anything on the offensive side of the ball, having trouble getting the ball across, having trouble setting up their offense. A lot of frustration for Redlands, but you know, coming out in the second half, they were determined to get this game back into reach, and that's exactly what they did. And that is a test to Coffey himself being able to put Redlands on his shoulders and do what he does best, and that's knock down that three-pointer.
So the Rowdy Rooters forming a tunnel on the court, and the University of Laverne players are making their way through the Rowdy Rooters tunnel, and the crowd likes that, so they're giving a round of applause. And it looks like Coach Reed is going to make his way through the tunnel, so the fans love to see that.
It's great to see some coach participation, but all in all, you got to be impressed. Laverne showed some great signs defensively, and that's got to be something that they've got to focus on and continue on to another game. You got to just continue this trend of great defense. I tell you what, they did one heck of a job here, especially in the first half.
Well, it was a good-looking first half and kind of an ugly-looking second half. The play was very slow. Not bad for Redlands, although they did need to foul a lot to try and send Laverne to the line, making for a longer game and a little bit of a snoozer. But it has been fun, Brian. It's nice to reunite with you here on LVTV 3 and to see if Laverne is able to make this inaugural tournament, because they've improved the record to 5-7 in SCIAC and 11-12 overall. And Redlands goes to 10-13, and they're also 5-7 in SCIAC. So the big game tonight in SCIAC is for first place. Oxy's been in first place all year. Kowloon, of course, beat Laverne in the Laverne gym last week, and now they're tied for first with Oxy. So we'll see what happens with that game tonight. Who seems to be who's going to be the likely #1 seed in the SCIAC tournament? Okay, we're trying to find an interview here at the end of the game with one of the key players for Laverne. We haven't gotten any stats yet, but it seems to me Canis had to be one of the leading scorers for Laverne. Nicolini was hot early and slowed down a little bit later.
Oh, of course, that's the type of play that you want from your guards, especially your guards. They're always looking to get something going here. And that's exactly what they did, and they proved it down the stretch. Especially when you're going to get fouled a lot, you got to come together, make your free throws, and ULV was able to do that. You got to love that.
And on the Redlands side, Daniel Marcus really stepped it up in the second half. He realized his team was in trouble. He said, I'm going to shoot the ball. Again, we talked about Patrick Coffey, the sophomore point guard, really pushing the ball, impressive. And Dave Thomas, the other senior guard who could really score some points.
Yeah, and I was glad that you mentioned Dave Thomas. He was one that really impressed me the most. He was able to get into the lane without really much of a problem, especially when Redlands wasn't able to score in the first half. So when you look at Dave Thomas, all these seniors on Redlands, they are going to do everything they can to get into this inaugural tournament.
Okay, and we're going to send it down to the floor now where Ariella Pollock is with Billy Nicolini, one of the leading scorers for Laverne, the 6-foot sophomore guard from Novato, California.
Billy, you had a great game tonight. What do you attribute to your high scores?
We just played well. Guys were giving me passes, and we're running our offense really well.
How do you think that you guys are getting used to the new coach and stuff?
I really like him. We've definitely improved since last year. He's come in, he's taught us new things, and we're just a better team.
What are you looking forward to in your next 2 home games against Claremont and Occidental?
Well, if we win both of them, we have a shot at making the conference tournament. So that's pretty big for us, and that's what that's our goal for the next 2 games, to win those and make the tournament.
Congratulations this season and good luck. Thank you. And now back to Don and Brian.
All right, well, there you have it from the floor. They won tonight. Big win for Laverne. They've got
win.
2 tough games coming up against Claremont and coming into tonight, #1 Oxy. That's going to be a real tough game, but they're both at home. If they win, they're 7-7 in conference, and they have a shot at that #4 seed in the SCIAC tournament.
You know, the biggest game, like you mentioned, is going to be Oxy. It's going to prove what this team is actually made of. Obviously, they are a powerhouse in the SCIAC, and they got to do everything they can to get into this tournament. And Occidental's going to come here. Laverne's going to be in their home, and continue that defense that they did today against Redlands. And tell you what, they got a good shot of knocking off #1 Occidental.
All right, well, thank you very much, Brian. That'll do it for us from the France Gym at the University of Laverne in the Super Tents. I'm Don Pollock. This is Brian Tox. You've just watched the University of Laverne Leopards beat the Redlands Bulldogs on LVTV3, Laverne Community Television. Good night, everybody.